Hey fellas, got a pro tip for you. When your wife's cutting your hair, don't try arguing with her. She ends up cutting more off than what should have been cut off. Anyway, got the SR-71 done, and I was really going to weather this and, really dirty it up, and I had a few reference pictures, and I started doing it, and it was kind of speaking to me and saying, hey, don't do that, don't put that stuff on me. Because I liked it the way it was. I was like, why am I doing this if I like it? So I ended up just doing a panel line wash, and I didn't really wash every panel. I kind of mixed and matched a few colors and hit a few panels and left a few panels, and did a little bit of oil paint, kind of grimed up along the engines where it meets the wing, and that's about it. I didn't really do anything else. I liked it the way it was, so I left it. So there's no weathering video. But I did, my buddy, I got a good buddy, and he got back into modeling, in part, I think, from watching some of my videos. Big collector of model airplanes. And in fact, I'm going to send this one to him because he sent me 3 SR-71 kits along with 3 resin conversion kits to make it into the A12 and the M21 and D21 drone. So that's going to be cool. In fact, we'll take a look at those resin conversions because I'd never seen them before and didn't even know they existed. And so we'll take a look at those just to show you. I guess they're out there. I don't know when he bought them, but I've never seen them before. They're not the greatest molding, but it's a resin conversion kit. I assume it was a garage kit or something. So anyway, we'll take a look at those, and then we'll take a look at the finished SR-71. Okay, here are these conversion kits that he sent me, and looks like they're from Kiwi Resin Models, which I don't know anything about. I don't even know if they're still in existence. I'm sure somebody out there in YouTube land will probably know. But here they are, and they're for the A12. And from what I understand, the A12 was shorter and had a slightly different nose. I believe it was, I don't know how many feet shorter, but it was shorter, lighter, and faster than the SR-71. So basically, they just give you the nose section, and I assume you used the other parts from the plastic kit. And then they've got the tail section as well, which looks like it might be different. Included is this cockpit, which actually looks pretty good. I don't typically build them for myself with the cockpit open, but if I were to insert this, then I would do it with the cockpit open. These look pretty good, and the seats look pretty good there as well. So that's that. And then the D21 drone, which is kind of cool. It'd be really cool because I've never seen a model out there, a 48 scale with a drone on top. So I think that'll be really cool. When I do these, I'll probably do this one first, just because it's and there's a little bit of pitting. I mean, it looks like, I don't know, not the greatest molding ever. A lot of cleanup, but that's kind of what you get with resin. It's got all these parts in there. I don't exactly know how this all goes together, and there are really no instructions, so just kind of have to look at reference pics. But anyway, that's that, and I appreciate him sending me those. He lives halfway across the United States, and I'm probably going to head out his way next year for my daughter's band concert, and I may just give him a big old kiss for it. I've also got these Caracal decals, and they look pretty cool, because the decals with the kit aren't that good, especially with this being such an older kit. They tend to be pretty fragile. They weren't the worst decals, like I said earlier, but they're not the greatest. But I got these, and there's a bunch of different, I think there's there's 16 marking options and then 22 in this one. So I picked these up, and these will come in handy when I go to build these resin conversions. So enough of that. Let's go, let's take a look at the plane. All right, let's take a look at it. Now, there's been a lot of interest since I started posting videos on YouTube about this, and I think that's because it's a popular plane and there aren't really too many other YouTube videos on the 4/8 scale. And I think a lot of people kind of get turned off, and I know I was when I first tried to build it a couple years ago with rescribing the panel lines. Overall, as far as panel line scribing, it's not that difficult once you get some practice in. Because I mean, there's just a lot of straight lines. There's not a lot of curves. I mean, you got the big curves here to deal with, but overall, it took me probably a couple days of rescribing. But I think once you get some practice in, it's you'll find it's not that bad. And there were a couple fit issues right along here that I had to take care of along the tail, and I think a lot of that can be taken care of just by test fitting and doing a little bit of sanding and cleanup. But as far as the panel lines go, I didn't do like just one straight panel line wash. I used a few different colors. One of them was stone gray for black, which is like a real dirty brownish gray. And then for some highlights, I used light gray. I also used a little bit of black along some of these just to vary it up. And I think those turned out pretty cool. You can see some of them. This one's like the light gray. It's kind of highlighted. And it's not such, if I use light gray along the whole thing, then it's kind of like in your face and every panel line stands out. And I don't like the way that looks. Now, I did do just a little bit of oil work. I kind of dirtied up along here, and you can't really hardly tell because I used like a sepia color. When you look real close, you can kind of see it along the back. And Clone Fox 80, I talked to him, and I was going to do some, if you see in some pictures, there's like fuel stains streaking along here. And I did that a couple times, and, I was like, I really wasn't happy with it, so I just took some mineral spirits and wiped it away. To kind of give you an idea, I'd done some experimentation on my test mule, and that's kind of what I came up with for that. And, it looks pretty cool. It was Fuel Stains by Ammo MIG, and it stays glossy. So, I may do that at some point on another build. So that's one thing. But, like I said, I'd started weathering this, and I'm like, I really like the way it looks, especially against this stand, which is kind of clean. It's not all beat up. And I just think it fits more, it fits better with what I've done with just the pre-shading. So there it is. There's the cool looking film that I put on the window glass. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I did kind of put a camera inside, and you can kind of see it. I didn't do it on these, but yeah, it's kind of cool. Anyway, there it is. The decals with the Testors kit weren't that terribly bad. Now, a lot of these are like, because it's such an old kit, they're going to be brittle. The ones with this one weren't real bad. They did, a couple of them broke. Some of these stars and bars broke, but I soaked them in hot water, and then I used some micro sol or set or one of them to soften them up before I actually put them on. And then some Solvaset got them to hammer down pretty good. The back end, and let me take off this pitot tube before I break it, because I am sending this to my buddy. For the pitot tube, I knew I would break this off, and typically what I like to do when I get a kit is I'll take the pitot tubes off as soon as I get them. So I just cut this off and put a brass tube. I don't know if I mentioned that in one of my other videos. And then it just inserts in there. So we can look at the back. Gosh dang the lighting. I took some like metallizer, metal powder. I think it was Ushi van der Rosten, and just kind of went along the edge with a Q-tip and highlighted some of the edges of the exhaust here, and then along where I created the fuel dump right there, which I think kind of adds a little bit more to it. You can't hardly see just because of my lighting. all the work that I did on the inside of the exhaust. It does look, in my opinion, look pretty cool. But I will show you. I'll flash up some pictures so you can get a good look at what that looks like. Probably next time I'll do a little bit better job on the pilots. I'm not real happy with those. I didn't think you could see very much, so I didn't put a whole lot of effort into them. But you can actually see a lot of them in there. So next time I'll do a little bit better job if I put pilots in it. But that's about it. And there's my nose. See if we can get her to focus on my nose. I kind of flared out these chines right here to mimic the real thing. But that's what she looks like. Anyway, I will flash up some pictures, and I hope you've enjoyed this video series. And I know a lot of people are wanting to build this, and just hope what I've done and what I've learned on this has helped you guys out. So here's some pictures. Thanks for watching.